Couple years down the road, you wake up, you open your window and breathe in that pre-dawn, cool Sunday morning air. You wake up in the stillness of the morning, just that hour where the sun is slowly starting to warm things, and Mother Nature has yet to rise from her slumber. Like you don't hear any birds, you don't hear any life, just a still Sunday morning, you looking out your bedroom window. This is something that you've been doing for a little while now. Getting up early on the weekends, having uh having a nice nutritious breakfast, one that's going to fuel the activities of your day.
Okay.
And you need a lot of fuel these days, you know? You're
Why?
active, you're on the move. A couple years down the road, Pat, you get really into cycling.
Really?
Yeah,
That is a 180 of the. Oh man, that's crazy to hear.
you get really into cycling. Yeah, you uh
That's so weird. I've never been into that.
it is weird. And you know what happened was you were working in the Velve one night and this guy in like full on like Lance Armstrong cycling gear like came up and he like parked his bike in the and then like the parking right in front of the Velve. And it's clearly marked no parking, and the
Yeah.
cops like are like hassling this guy and he's like, fuck you, it's not a car, and the cops are like, you get the fuck out of here, buddy, and he starts taking a couple steps towards the cops.
Oh no, buddy.
It escalates, and APD does what APD is going to do.
Sure.
They take this guy down and just fucking brutalize him
Wow.
right there on the hot asphalt.
What does Michael say?
Holy shit. Michael stands by, he watches and he goes, man, they really tuned him up.
Michael.
So this guy, like, you know, gets taken away, battered, bloodied,
Jeez.
and the cops look at Michael and they go, hey, get that fucking bike out of here, or we're gonna fine the owners of your building for having parking in front of their establishment.
That's not a law at all.
You say that to the cop, and he reaches for his fucking nightstick and just slides it about a quarter of the way out of its sleeve.
Jeez.
He's got veins drawn on it.
What is wrong with this guy? What? He's got veins drawn on it.
Yeah,
This
you
guy
should see
is.
you should see it when it's fully unsheathed.
All right, then I guess I moved the fucking bicycle or whatever.
Yeah, so you go, fine, I'll get it out of here. You like step from the curb, you swing your leg over the carbon fiber frame, you wrap your hot little hands around the handlebars. And I don't know how to say this other than you just fit on this bike.
Yeah.
There's like no unnecessary movement, no unnecessary extension of limbs. It is just like it was made for to fit your body. You go, fine, I'll move it. You get on and you pedal up 6th Street, right? And admittedly, it's been a while since you've been on the back of a bike, but you couldn't tell riding this motherfucker.
I just take to
You
it.
you take to it, right? A couple pedals, you're up to speed, deftly dodging patrons of bars as they stumble out into the night. You thread the needle between a bachelorette party and a LARP group, a group of LARPers. They're LARPing, walking up and down Sixth Street, just being terrified of modern amenities. So, you're
Oh man.
you circle the block and you kind of like pull back up to the valve and you're like, holy shit. Like I've never ridden a bike that made me feel like this. So you like look for the cop, you're like, what do I do with this bike? And the cop's like, I don't know, fucking take it home. So you do. You drive it to your car, you strap it to the top of that fucking white Ford Fiesta.
Hell yeah. It's still running.
Oh, like a fucking top. You get the bike down, you take it inside, you wake up the next morning. The first thing you do is like shine it up, clean it, you know. You go to the store and you buy like gear, get a helmet, you get elbow pads and knee pads.
Oh wow. So I'm really taking the safety thing serious.
Very serious.
Huh.
But I gotta be honest with you, Pat, it looks fucking good on you.
Really?
Yeah. You got like those wraparound sunglasses. They're like very, very tiny lenses. They're very small. They fit like just over your eyeball and no more. Very fashionable.
Really?
Yeah, so you're pedaling around town, you're waiting at stoplights, people are like looking at you, you're looking at them, you know. You're feeling like a man on the move, feeling like feeling free, feeling fast, you're feeling athletic
Why?
because you're just really fucking riding the shit out of this bike. You get really into riding the bike.
I'm into this.
You're into this, man. You start like on some mornings you'll drive to like a spot like 30 minutes south of Austin and just kind of like take a drive out into the hill country. At first you find the hills challenging, but in time you master them. You don't fear them.
That's good.
You think that they fear you.
Oh man.
That's like the mantra that you have, right?
They fear me.
They fear you. And you get really into riding your bike for like a year. And you wake up one morning and you're like, you know, you're always trying to work on your form. You're trying to perfect your craft. And if you had a bad habit while riding a bike, it's that sometimes you put your head down, you know, and you have to like remind yourself, like you put your head down and pedal, and
Yeah,
you have to keep your head up. You got to keep your
cannot
head
do
up,
that.
you know, you got to keep your head up. You say if you don't keep your head up, that's when bad things happen.
And your head might come off.
You never know. So you create a revolutionary bicycle helmet.
Yeah?
It's like a normal bicycle helmet. It's like a training device. It's like a normal bicycle helmet. And except have you seen the ones where they're like long in the back for like aerodynamics?
Yes.
Yours is like that, except it keeps going.
Oh God.
It keeps going down the middle of your back. It keeps going down the small of your back.
Jeez.
There's like a harness at the waist. that you slip into. It turns into like a G-string thong,
Oh my God, Aaron.
and there's an athletic supporter cradling your dick and balls.
That's
And
unbelievable.
it's manufactured in such a way that as long as you keep your head up, you feel like no pressure on your balls. But then if you like drop your head, like just the tension of the device like tugs at the fabric of the harness and like grabs your balls. And you're like, "Oh yeah, I have to keep my head up." It's like a train. It's called the heads up. HEADZUP for both
Yeah.
heads.
Oh, jeez.
That's the tagline for it.
Oh God. Hold on. So it's called the heads up for both heads.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That
so
fucking sucks.
it becomes a thing that you're like you make your own. You spray paint it a brilliant reflective gold, and dude. All I'll say is this: it fucking works, man. The moment you drop your head, you feel a tight constriction around your fucking sack,
Oh God. Yeah.
and it
Feels
reminds
so
you,
gross to hear you say that.
oh, I got to keep my head up, so you keep your eyes up,
So stupid.
avoiding looking down, avoiding certain disaster, and you make your own prototype. It's your training device,
Okay.
and you're like riding it around town. You're out there on like one particularly hot summer day. One of those days where you wake up and it's already, hey, guess what? It's already 100 degrees, motherfucker.
Oh fuck.
You
Yeah.
know, you're like,
We're heading in that direction right now
you're
here in
almost there.
Texas.
And yeah, it's just one of those days where you wake up, it's hot, you go to bed, it's hot. It is relentless. And you had a particularly long ride planned, you know. You get out there, you're pedaling, sweat just dripping off your body. You get so hot, you're like out on this road, this like side road in the middle of nowhere. You're like, fuck it. I gotta like get rid of some of this. And you take off your shirt, you take off your pants, and all you're wearing is the heads up.
Oh, I'm nude.
No, you're wearing the heads up.
Oh, right.
It's on your head, running down your back into like a G string and cradling your penis and your testicles in an athletic supporter fashion.
It's worse to hear you put it like that.
So you're
Penis and
pedaling,
testicles.
skin exposed,
Ugh.
right? You pedal back into like the spot you parked at like how there's all those entrances to the green belt.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's like a campground site or something. You parked at like one of those,
Okay.
and you're standing in the parking lot, and this like group of people are watching you, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And they take a bunch of pictures of you.
Yeah, that would be shocking. This is the
You're
only one.
you're standing there, glistening in the Texas sun of a
Hmm.
summer morning, sweat covering your torso, covering your entire body. If we're being frank,
Yeah.
the sun's beams just reflecting off your shiny skin, and you can see that it's like a cup. Like they get you from the front. You're totally nude except there's the cup, up reaching up from in between your thighs. They get a lot of pictures of you, right? And you kind of like I'm not gonna say you go viral, but like within the biking community, you go viral, you know. There's a bunch of memes of you, right?
Okay.
There's a bunch of stuff like people like, what the fuck is this guy wearing, right?
Yeah, it is
It
stunning to think about this.
it blows up, and people are like, "What is this guy wearing?" And then there's like this famous like Swiss cyclist who's like, "I think I see what's happening here," you know. And he said his name is uh, uh Farold Oscar.
Farrell Oscart.
Yeah, and he's like a famous Swiss cyclist,
Farrell.
you know?
It's this is my uncle from Switzerland, Farrell.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And they're like, Farrell Oscar, famous cyclist, and he's like, yeah, you know. So he
Amazing,
uh
Aaron.
he has a podcast that, it's like the preeminent cycling community podcast in the world. Farrell is like he's a character. He tells it like it is, you know, he's pretty straight up. But he's not afraid to like call you on your bullshit. If you bring some bullshit onto his show, he's
He's
gonna call
gonna,
you on it.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the show called?
His show's called uh Wheels of the World with Farrell Oscart,
Wheels of the World.
you know? And so he gets on there and he's like, yeah, guys, look, I've seen the pictures. That's how he opens his fucking show. He goes, I've seen the pictures. If you're listening to the show, you've seen the pictures. He's like, who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Everybody's got their theories. And there's like multiple pictures of you, right? There's pictures of you like from the front, there's pictures of you from the side. There's every like possible unflattering angle is covered.
But but no one gets just a picture of my actual face.
Well, you're wearing those sunglasses,
Okay.
and then you do like wind up changing. You put your clothes on, you like you peel the fucking heads up off of your sweaty body, you know?
Yeah.
They get the picture as you slide the G string out of your ass, right? They
Oh,
get like every detail.
gross.
And he goes, "Look, I'm not gonna say this guy is like a weirdo or like a freak or anything." He goes, "I think he's trying to tackle one of cycling's oldest challenges, and that's keeping your head up."
Okay.
And he says, especially for new riders, you can get in the zone. He goes, the whir of your tires across asphalt can be hypnotizing. He goes,
Yeah.
you can just almost fall asleep listening to it. He says, if you don't keep your head up, that's when you're doomed, certain disaster. He goes, and I think this is a training aid and, athletic supporter, if we're being frank, that is one that helps him keep his head up so that he avoids certain disaster. He goes, I think there's more than meets the eye here. And he says, if anybody knows who this guy is or how to get in contact with him, he goes, please send him my way.
Well, how come I don't reveal myself?
Well, so this is what happens is that, you know, Wheels of the World is big enough that it touches corners of your world. And it doesn't happen right away, but eventually, because of how ridiculous of an outfit it is, it gets leaked to the greater normal internet, and then yeah, a lot of people see that it's you, and you are revealed to be the man who wears too little
Wait, that's what I'm known as?
on the internet. Yeah,
The man who wears too little?
yeah, it's a
Okay.
loose interpretation of like something somebody said in France in French. You know,
Oh, this is going like very viral now.
you're an international meme, right?
Ah, fuck.
International Pat.
Oh, I don't know about
So
International Pat.
so eventually you kind of get found out, right? You get found out, you go on to Farrell Oscart's famed podcast, number one cycling podcast in the world. He does like a Joe Rogan style podcast where it's like fucking 3 hours long, he'll have
Okay.
guests on. people in cycling, people not in cycling, but generally people who are aware of who he is, or it's somebody who he has an interest in himself.
Does he also get easily fooled by things on the internet?
No, no, he doesn't do that.
So it's not okay. Interesting.
Yeah, no, he doesn't do that. Again, he's a no nonsense, no bullshit kind of guy,
Sure.
right? So, you go on the podcast and he interviews you and he's like, here's my theory. And he pitches it to you and you're like, yes, exactly.
Here's my theory.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing. And you're like you kind of like explain your cycling journey to him, right? And he goes, Pat, he goes, I think there's a lot of people out there who could benefit from a product like this if they're serious about cycling. He goes, and if they're not serious about cycling and you cut them off, you say they can go fuck off.
Holy shit.
Farrell laughs. He goes, I knew I liked your attitude.
Wow.
So the podcast ends. Farrell stands up. He shakes your hand. He goes, man, that was a great episode. He goes, time flew by. And he asks you, he goes, so it really works. The heads up. And you're like, yeah. Anytime you like lean your head down too far forward, it tugs at your scrotum.
Yeah, and I make it clear that you don't have to be. You know what? Never mind. Keep going. Sorry.
He kind of like pauses. He goes, does it feel like good at all? And you're like, it can,
Yeah, I
you know,
bet.
it can. He kind of like solemnly nods. He goes, Pat, look, he says, I've got a lot of friends in cycling that extend beyond just writers or people in the media. He goes, I worked with bike companies and apparel companies all the time on how to make it how to make the shirt 1% more aerodynamic or 1% more sweat wicking. He goes, these people will look for any competitive edge. He says, I think a training device like yours could really help out a lot of riders, especially new ones and younger ones. People who aren't yet grizzled vets on the
Okay.
circuit.
Yeah. Huh.
He was like, he gets your information. He goes, we'll be in touch. So
The
you go
heads
home.
up.
You spend the next like 2 weeks like designing logos, right?
Oh no, no. What do I come up with?
You come up with a bunch of them. You come up with uh you come up with like one of them is just two two nuts and a big penis in between them.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
the the nuts are on one's on each side of the shaft, and the shaft is big enough that it extends out of the frame, so you can't see
This is awful.
the tip of it.
Oh my
And
God.
one nut is like looking across the shaft, like to the other nut,
Oh, no. What do
and
you mean?
he says he's like there's like a band around the nuts around the top of them, and the nut that's talking is like turning purple, and he was like, "Hey, did you feel that?" And then the other one says, "He must be using a heads up."
Hold on, that's the logo. Is that's them talking to each other?
Yeah.
This is such an absurd thing.
Well, I mean
This is
that's
the
one.
worst thing. It's
There's one.
awful. Absolutely
There's
awful.
there's another one where it's
Just
like
disgusting. Just
it's like
disgusting.
it's like you on the bike and you have your head up. It's like a three panel thing. There's you on the bike. It's like you have you're pedaling and you have your head up, eyes forward. And then the next one is you looking down, right? And you can see like the top of the helmet. And then the third panel is you with your head like way up and your teeth are like you're baring your teeth and you're just grinning and your eyes are closed and it looks like pleasurable.
Again,
That's
why are
another
these
one.
why are these the logos? That's going to be such a large, it's a three-panel sequence, and that's going to be the logo.
Yeah.
A logo has to be, oh God, that is so,
Well, you're not like a logo guy, you know? You're
I
an
guess
inventor,
not. Yeah,
you
fair
know?
enough, I guess. I'm not a logo guy.
So you come up with like 10 or 12 equally uh as creative examples of those.
Okay.
And you're like you get it, you wind up getting a phone call. Um it's from an international number. You answer it and you go, "Hello?" And the voice on the other line goes, yes, is this Pat Dean?" And you're like, "Yeah." They go, "Hi, my name is Kegel Baritone." And
Eagle baritone,
yeah, baritone. Um
baritone. His first name
he
is Kegel, though.
yeah,
All right, it's odd.
he says, "Yeah, I spoke to Farrell. I'm a friend of Farrell's." He says he sent us photos of your design. He sent us measurements that he took, and he goes, "I got to be honest with you, when Farrell signs off on something like this, it goes straight to the top." And he
Oh,
he seems to think you have a training device on your hands that could revolutionize cycling for years to come. He says, basically what we would do is we would license your idea from you. We would sell them to training schools, teachers, on the retail market. Anybody could buy their own. They go, we would give you $14 per unit sold. They're going to sell for $50. Every single one you'll get $14. He goes, and
okay.
if we expand internationally, this that you're set for life. He
Wow.
says, what do you say?
Well, I'd have to get like a lawyer to look at this, you know? I'd have to get like,
Yeah. He goes, I'll send you the documents. He goes, can you send me any media, any artwork, anything that you come up with so we can get a sense of where you want this to go?
um, I feel like maybe if you guys had like a logo specialist work on it, that might be for the best. I think anything I create would be kind of dumb.
He says, yeah, but you got to show us, give us something that we could pass it along to give like an idea of how you want this branded.
Okay. Yeah, let me talk to my lawyer and I'll send you something.
He goes, great. Look forward to working with you, Pat.
Thanks, you too.
You send your documents over to your lawyer. He checks them out. Everything looks good. You get an email from Kegel, and he was like, "Hey, you talked to that lawyer yet? Love to get some thoughts on some branding items, some designs you got rolling around in
Yeah,
there."
I would have to work for the rest of that day on some logos. I can't show him any of the ones that I came up with. I mean, that'd be humiliating.
Yeah, yeah. So you reply to him. You're like, "Hey, or see the attached." You basically you send over paperwork and you
Yeah.
attach a file, a folder of your designs.
Oh, I do send them?
Well, yeah, you said you were gonna work on it.
Oh yeah, we'll have to I mean, like come up with new ones. You know what I mean? Because the ones that I
Yeah,
have
but
are awful.
you did come up with some new ones. So you sent the whole folder, the
Okay.
new ones and the old ones.
Okay.
And the old
Send
ones,
both.
yeah, you sent them all.
All right,
Uh
whatever.
so you send them over, right? You get uh you get like some artist renderings back, They have some fucking cut up, jacked up dude wearing it, right?
Cool.
Really outlines his rock and bulge, you know. He's like sticking it out, right? It is very sexual, right?
Very rocking.
They recreate the three-panel image of with that guy where he's like looking ahead and then one down and then one throwing his head back in ecstasy.
That's the one they went with. That's the worst one.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, I
sucks
guess they
so
went with
bad.
it. I don't know if it's the worst one. It was the one that they chose to go with.
It's
So
so stupid.
they're like selling these things, there's one for ladies. They build like a sports bra into it.
So this is like an entirely new design.
Yeah, totally new design, you know. Uh I don't have lady parts, so I can't really tell you what it would feel like, but it's seems to be good, I think.
It's okay. It's
So
comparable,
yeah,
is what you're saying.
yeah.
Okay.
So these things like hit the market and they start selling like crazy. But they're not really selling to like cyclists. They're selling to like weird fetish people.
Oh no.
And they're like
Yeah.
taking them home, they're deconstructing them, they're like having, so it's like the tension of like the way your head moves up and down is the thing that like closes the tie
Oh
around,
no. Oh God.
so
And so they're
so
using it as some kind of like
yeah.
masturbation aid. Okay.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know. Um, but they're like adding new things to it to like put stuff in and out of, it's just like they're like modifying these things for pleasure. Okay. That's what I'm telling you.
Right. Okay. Well, whatever. It's fine, I guess.
You're sitting at home, right? You're cashing fucking checks, man.
Yeah.
You're making like 10 grand a month
Whoa.
on these things, right?
That's just out the
Um,
gate.
yeah, that's just out the gate. So you're selling a shitload of these, right? Things are good. You're making a lot of money, you know. You get you get an email. You've been cordially invited to the 35th annual Kink Awards. And they want you there for you're there to win a lifetime achievement award. They go, Mr. Dean, we want to recognize your contribution to the kink community,
Wow.
and we'd love to have you show up to our awards ceremony and accept your trophy.
So I feel like I would just pivot to the kink community. I would just build toys and stuff like that because I'm not selling anything to bicyclists, right? Like I'm marketing to the wrong people,
I mean, yeah, you're selling some to bicyclists. Don't get me
but
wrong.
mostly,
Mostly to the kink,
okay, I would have to,
BDSM.
after getting a lifetime achievement award from them, I guess I would probably start rethinking my business.
They say in the email, they say, show up in a heads up on your bike.
Okay.
So you're gonna go. You put on your heads up, put on your tuxedo over it,
Let's ride.
and you're pedaling up, right? You turn down the street of the Kink Awards where the Kink Awards are. And people, as soon as you turn the corner, people are like taking your picture, just a bunch of like kink photographers. They're all wearing like leather masks and stuff.
The photographers are
Yeah.
dressed up too.
Yeah, you
That's
get off
all.
your bike. One photographer looks at you and he unzips his mask. He goes, Pat, look over here. And then he zips it
Uh,
back up and then he gets your picture.
what is security dress like?
Um, they are not wearing shirts, but they're wearing collars and they're wearing like black, like policeman hats.
Right.
And they have two tasers, one on each hip, one for pain, one for pleasure.
Oh man. All right. This is something
The
else.
holster, the holster of the pleasure taser is fucking worn.
Great.
So you go inside, right? You get seated. They serve you like a fucking Michelin star level meal. You watch the Kink Awards. A lot of stuff you don't understand. A lot of stuff that you're not really sure. You look around. There's like several other people that are wearing the heads up,
Oh
and
wow.
when they see you, they all nod. And then when they like pull their head down from the nod, you can see like their faces contract a little bit.
I
A couple
guess
of
I
them,
just
couple of them bite their fucking lips.
I nod back.
You nod back. At the end of the night, you get presented with a Lifetime Achievement Award, and they say 6 months ago, this man created a device that changed our community forever.
Wow.
And they go, Pat Dean, and the heads up, come on up. You ascend the stairs. You hear a chant break out from the crowd. Heads up, heads up, heads up. You have to like quiet the crowd. You wave them down, you know. You give a speech to the crowd.
Yeah.
What do you say?
You know, 6 months ago, my life looked very different than it does now. And uh, I'll keep this short and I'll keep this sweet. Um, I didn't really know what I was getting into when I started Heads Up, but I'm proud of where it's taken me. And thank you for for letting me into the community. Thanks, and I hope we keep our relationship going for many years now. Thank you so much, I
People
guess.
cheer, they applaud. There's one guy who's just like bent over somebody's knee and they're just like smacking his ass to make it sound like a clap, you know? And he is loving it, loving it.
It's insane.
So the show
Er,
ends, right? You go outside, you go to get on your bike, and a couple people who are wearing heads ups, they like walk over to you and they go, Pat, Pat. And you go, hey guys, you know, and they say, hey, we just want to say thank you that the heads up is our favorite toy to play with.
oh, you're welcome.
And they say, anytime you want to come play with us, you let us know, you know,
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not gonna go.
you don't.
Be polite though.
Yeah, of course. So you go home, right? Over the next like year and a half, your focus changes entirely and you start getting into like leverage based adult toys, you know?
Leverage based, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
It's all
You
about
basically
leverage.
you become essentially like the Rube Goldberg for adult toys, you know?
That is all right.
What you create is considered a work of art and is appreciated on like an intellectual scale. And you stop cycling as much, you know? You hang the bike up for 2 weeks and that turns into a month the next time, and then it's 3 months, and then you look up and you're not even cycling anymore. But the international sex toy racket is hard and it takes it out of you. After a particularly frustrating week, you're down in the garage and you see your bike hanging up on the wall. It's a beautiful, cool fall morning, and you think, you know what? I may as well just take this out for a ride. It's been a little while.
Hell yeah.
You put on your helmet. The
My head's up.
original the original heads up is like framed. It's like in a glass case above your desk,
Sure.
you know. So you just put on a helmet. You get out on a ride and you're really getting into it, right? You're sweating,
I'm into this.
you're into this. You're feeling that familiar burn in your thighs. And you think, man, it has been a while. You hear the whir of your tire on the road. You feel the cool breeze rushing past your face. You're looking down at the tire, just sort of riding the line, and you feel free. Cycling feels the way it felt before all of this wealth and fame and fortune. And you remember why you loved it again. The sun comes out from behind some clouds. The rays beat down on your neck as you look down at the wheel, just running against the pavement. You become enraptured with the sound and the whir and the feeling that this ride, you just wish it could go on forever. You don't look up and you drive right off the road, off of a cliff. And
No.
when you do look up, you're staring face to face with what has been voted as the pointiest rock in all of North America.
Oh, fuck.
And you pedal, you pedal, you fly off a cliff and you fly right into the jagged one, the pointiest rock in all of North America,
The
as
jagged
voted
one.
on by Pointy Rock Magazine. And your head gets impaled at the very tip of the jagged one, and you just gotta like sit there until the birds pick all the meat off your bones. They can't get to you or anything because of you know how isolated it is. So just the large predatory birds in the area just pick your flesh away, and then whatever's
Jeez.
meat is there and your organs, and then your bones just like stay stuck there until a tornado a couple years later comes and just rips through the area, throws your bones into a lake where they get buried. Nobody ever looks for them or finds them.
What the fuck? Where did that all come from? That is insane. All right.
You should have worn your heads up.
Where
Would
the
have
hell
saved
did...
you. Would have saved you from complete disaster.
Yeah, I guess. Pointy Rock Magazine.
Yeah,
I don't know about that one. That's fucking
it's a
weird.
quarter. It's a quarterly. The
Oh,
jagged one sits at number one and isn't going anywhere for a long, long